So, David, how's Section 44 of the Constitution working out for you?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I'm not in the Constitution.
Oh. Well, fuck. Hello and welcome to episode 21 of the Pomcast, where another week of wonder-filled excitement has occurred, and it's just been a little bit shit worldwide, but we went to Edinburgh, so we're going to discuss that. I'm Jared.
And I'm David.
And we're back and got stuff to talk about. Yay! So,
Gross.
not gross. It's not gross at all. It's fine. It's great. So, what do we do in Edinburgh, David? Please, enlighten the people who are listening.
We went to Edinburgh. That's what we did. We went there and we looked at graveyards. That was it. We just went to a graveyard.
Yeah, we just went to a graveyard in the centre of the city. It was great. Couldn't read any of the tombstones, or well, we could read a couple of them, not many. But yeah, that was all we went for.
Well, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly. We'll see you next week. No, we went for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is something that occurs every year and has done for many, many years.
Yep.
We saw 4 acts in total, which all had their charms. One for me was a little bit worse than the rest, but that's just how it goes. So it's something that I can now tick off my bucket list, something that I've done, and I was quite happy about it. And to be honest, surrounded by the city that is in Edinburgh is fantastic. It's such a gorgeous place that in a lot of ways probably shouldn't work, but it does, apart from the traffic. The traffic's horrible.
It's because it's full of
tourists. Damn it, tourists. But it is an incredible place and has some incredible venues as well. So we went and saw, in order, I've got to remember, we went and saw
Monday, the 7th of August.
Yes.
At 9 p.m, Daniel Sloss,
who is a Scottish
comedian. And 20, I don't know.
He's
mid-20s.
Yeah, he's about my age. And he is incredibly funny. Talks a lot about, I suppose, the darker side of life. He reviews things in a very logical manner, and applies humour to circumstances that in some ways might not normally have humour attached to them. Like news reports about murderers, and pulp in orange juice.
The pulp doesn't make sense. I mean, it's not particularly logical. Because he says if you want pulp, just eat an orange. But if you try to eat an orange, it takes ages. You got to cut it. It gets sticky everywhere, and then you put it in your face. You get stuff. If you want just like a juiced orange, just drink it out of a thing.
Yeah, but
it doesn't get
pulp
mess.
As he rightly pointed out, if you have to chew it, it's not juice.
That's not the point.
Well, it is the point.
I'm not going to eat an orange if I want pulp. I buy the double pulp just because it's like thick.
It's not. Oh, it's so unsettling in your mouth, though.
What? No, it's just pulp.
It's not right. It's not right at all.
Well, it's not juice. It's pulp.
Anyway, we'll agree to disagree on that one. It's not juice, but David seems to think it is. But
I just said it's not juice.
Yeah, but
that doesn't mean I don't like it. I like pulp.
You're just wrong.
With juice.
You're wrong.
That's why they say juice with pulp.
Which is...
The pulp is not the juice. That's why it says with pulp. Otherwise it'd just say juice.
Now you're just arguing semantics. That's
all he did.
Yeah, it was great. But pulp is wrong. And...
Well, for you, I like pulp.
Yeah, but you're wrong.
No, I like pulp. It's my opinion, for me. It's my learned opinion of me drinking juice with and without pulp, and I like both.
Great. Anyway,
it is great.
So we saw Daniel Sloss. He talked about pulp, threatened to kill somebody over pulp, which was great. Good show. And then we quickly sprinted across Edinburgh, well, gentle jog and then a walk, to watch...
Auntie Donna.
Yeah, it was interesting.
And if you know who they are, then you'll know exactly what happened. A lot of screaming and dancing, which is, fairly enjoyable.
Well, David did warn me about this, and I have watched Auntie Donna sketches in the past, and some of them are even a little bit humorous. However, it was the one show that I left and thought, eh. It didn't feel that well polished to me. It didn't encapsulate me. And
Well, it definitely wasn't the strongest of the shows that we saw.
No. And I don't know. Their style of comedy, their Stockholm Syndrome style of comedy is not for me. And that's just how it goes. You like some, you don't.
Well, let me just apply your logic. You're wrong, according to a bunch of people there.
Well, there was one... there was a group of people in front of us, and I had a little bit of a whinge at David at the start. I can't even remember what I said. But I said, if this is really bad, I'm blaming you. And she sort of turned around and she went, I'm here unwillingly as well. Do you know of these guys? And I don't really remember exactly what was said, but I sort of said, you won't...
There's a lot of screaming and dancing.
Yeah, there's a lot of screaming and dancing. You may not
take it or leave it.
Yeah. And the fact that she stared at her phone a little bit and I don't even think engaged with the show at all just showed how disinterested she was.
What?
Yeah, it's like you on a normal day.
No, I'm very interested in other things.
Yes. So that was Auntie Donna, and then Tuesday we spent a lot of time wandering around Edinburgh, and it's a beautiful city. I was in my element because it seemed every street had a bookshop, a second-hand bookshop. It was fantastic.
Did you buy any books?
I bought one. I bought a first edition of Swan Song, published by Penguin.
Have you read it?
Not yet. I've got other books to finish. So I've added it to my pile.
How big's your pile? What's your pile of shame?
My pile of shame at the moment has 4 books in it in this country. And back home has about 40 in it.
Great. I usually read a book and then buy the next one when I finish it.
Yeah, but I'm a bit of a bibliophile, so sorry. I buy books because I like them.
Read them.
I'm getting there.
Read them faster.
No, I can't read as quickly as I used to. I just can't.
Gotta get that read thing on your thing. I don't know. Yeah, I walked around Edinburgh. Blah, blah, blah.
Was there anything that particularly caught your eye, or?
I mean, when I walked past a shop, I'd look at myself in the window and be like, damn, I'm not going into that shop because I don't want to buy anything. And I didn't.
Did you? Okay, no.
But I like walking around.
Did you take any photos?
No, why?
To show other people when you get back?
No, they can go there. They can go there themselves, and they can look at photos on the internet. I'm not their photo guide. I'm not a tour. I don't have an Instagram where I post sexy.
People can't
sexy
see
pictures.
you moving your phone into a position.
Pictures. Yeah, but I'm doing it. It's not the point. I'm not doing it for them. Just like I'm not traveling for taking photos.
As with everything in life, you're doing it for yourself.
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
Good philosophy, not always. But anyway, so David walked around, I bought a book and some other things.
And that was Tuesday.
That was Tuesday.
Well, I did buy things, and that was just drinks and food.
Yeah, as did I.
And parking.
Yeah, parking. That was fun. So we wandered around, we met back up, and then we had dinner, and then we went and saw...
Demi at 9:20 p.m. because late shows.
Yeah, Demi Lardner, and I was unsure of what was going to happen, but I was very enthusiastic when it did happen, and when it was done, I was like, "This is fantastic!"
I knew Demi Lardner's kind of comedy, but this was more than I didn't really know exactly what to expect, because the description is just a troll. Gavin is 47 and trapped in his basement. Or is he? Is that a metaphor? Who knows? It isn't. But
it was quite funny because there was only about 30 of us in this room in the audience, and then
sat in the front row.
Yeah, she ran along and high-fived, and so it was it was a very...
for the past 6 months I've been practicing, and now I can swallow swords. Pork sword, yeah! Proceeds to high-five the front row.
Yep. It was a special kind of comedy that pushes boundaries, and that, we occasionally miss lines. But that's fine.
And the occasional dance.
Yeah. Really awkward
sort of song. That went for 5 seconds. It was good.
It was a very good show. If you do have the opportunity to see Demi Lardner live, do it. She also pops up in a lot of other podcasts and news things, and I'm sure she's on YouTube, so do that.
Don't do it.
And then from there we had to walk not as quickly as we thought.
Demi's show didn't go over time or anything. So.
No. We then had to get to the other quadrant of the city, the more modern part, to go and see Craig Ferguson present a live radio show.
For America.
Yeah. So, Craig Ferguson, since leaving the Late Late Show, has...
How late?
The Late Late Show.
Late.
Has gone on to co-host... Well, his name is in the show. His name is the show.
He is the show.
He is the show.
He's the show.
It's
Craig Ferguson show.
Yes. He's gone on to host the Craig Ferguson Show, which is the third most popular radio show on the planet, with about 15 million people tuning in from America, Canada, and Puerto Rico.
I didn't even know that when I went there. I was just like,
that's the thing.
I didn't really read the description of it. I was just like, Craig Ferguson, yes, I want to see that.
So,
and then I was like, it's a live radio show.
Yeah.
Whatever.
For 2 hours, it was really good. He has a co-host. He has a co-host who was his name Joe?
Joseph, I think.
Yeah, who is from California, and his accent was very cutting, and he doesn't have the he doesn't have the firmest grasp of the English language and all of its foibles, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
It's fewer, not less, Joe. It's fewer, not less.
Because we all know that fewer is for things that you can't count.
Anyway, we'll move on from that. But it was quite funny. They interviewed a couple of people doing shows, and then picked random people out from the audience to bring them up.
I mean, can count. That was a correction there.
Yeah, I was about to say that's why I left it, because I knew you were wrong. But yeah, they picked people up from the audience and spoke to them, and we got to listen to this poor woman from San Antonio, I think she was, in Texas. She was there, and she was there for a gig doing her own show, and she got up and did 5 minutes live on radio in front of an audience to do part of her sketch. Fledgling comedian, so it was not great, but then again, if you're with somebody who's known all across the US...
It's better than you'd expect from picking some random out of the audience.
Yeah, it was better than you'd think. But the whole thing was great, but then it finished at 1 a.m, so we then had to walk back to the car, which took 20 minutes, half an hour, and then had to drive back to the campsite, which was another half an hour.
Oh no.
So we didn't have a lot of sleep on Tuesday night.
I did.
I didn't. And then I had to drive back to Liverpool.
What's Tuesday? You didn't have to, but you did.
Yeah. Overall, it was a really good experience. I'd love to go back to Edinburgh, though, when the festival is not on.
Let's go!
It's still on. I'll go back there eventually, and then see the rest of Scotland. But it was very, very nice.
You're Scottish when it suits ye.
Ah, dear. But anyway, that was our little adventure. So the next thing that I'll be doing is I'm going to France in a week and a half.
What are you gonna do in French?
I'm going with my brass band to do a bit of a tour.
Frankrike.
So we're going that. David will be giving his own little... Well, I don't know whether he's going to do it or not, but possibly his own singular story time episode, so...
That means I have to actually finish writing the story.
Yeah, exactly. Should do that.
Or I could just...
That's
do
2 weeks from now.
Review of something. Like me.
No,
David, in review.
That won't take long.
Edinburgh and you. Imagine if Matt Berry did a show at the festival.
If that had been the case, we would have gone. Yeah.
That would have...
There's sometimes when David and I have conversations, there's not a lot that we agree on, but in terms of Matt Berry, I think we can always agree that he is fantastic and deserves more praise than what he receives. So
I can just imagine the show of him just being just random characters showing up and being slightly ridiculous, and him like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yep.
And that'd be it.
Yeah.
And it'd be...
Now...
Matt Berry, do it.
Yeah, do it. Because he listens to this.
Yeah.
In a lead on from what the fuck are you doing? Currently...
What the fuck are you doing?
No, exactly.
It's the great segment.
I would love to ask that to the current government of Australia. Now, I'm going to get a little bit passionate, and my little politics rant is going to go...
Here's your titbit.
Here's your titbit for the week.
A bit of tit.
There's something that's cropped up, well, that's been going on debate-wise for a number of years now that I feel quite passionate about. Now, I have now gotten to the point in my life where I'm quite happy to admit publicly that I'm a bisexual man.
So
that's
just
fine.
Going to end it there?
No.
You're just quite happy?
Well, no, but anyway.
But happy to admit that I'm not happy. What?
Anyway, I am quite happy now to admit that I'm a bisexual man in public. That's fine. I have no qualms with that whatsoever. And
I think you just can't choose, actually. You just undecided. What? I'm playing cunt. Cunt advocate. Advocant.
I'll get you a Liberal Party membership soon enough.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, but the argument that's been going, the discussion, as the government would like to call it, that has been going on in Australia at the moment is whether we should redefine the marriage to include those who are in homosexual relationships. Now, this is something it's now a modern discussion. It's now a modern argument, and it evokes a lot of passion from those who say no and those who say yes. Obviously, I'm very in favour of redefining marriage as it was before 2004 to include those who are in same-sex relationships to be able to get married. Because marriage in its original concept was a civil service that was taken by religion and made something that happened in the God. It was not originally founded as an event by any religion. It was a civil ceremony. And it didn't become sacrament until... sacrosanct. It didn't become that until the 15th century, and that was only in England and Wales. So I do not approve of those of any religion who say that it goes against their faith to have people of the same sex getting married.
So that's because you made it.
Yeah, you made it that way. And marriage in Australia is something that is defined by law, and it has been the case because we live in a secular society. Because religion doesn't play a role in the governance of our country.
It is merely a point of view.
Yes, it is something that can have an input in moral and ethical debate and the debate of politics, but it is not... We do not follow a doctrine and make laws from it. That's not how we work. Our constitution is a secular text.
Tell that to the libs, eh?
Yeah, well. Anyway, to give you a little bit of background, the first Marriage Act in Australia was introduced in November of 1961. All it was designed to do was set down a universal age that people could get married, which was 18. It did not formalise any definition of marriage.
Universal age.
Marriage then went through a number of legal changes. The first civil celebrant was appointed in 73. No-fault divorce happened in 75. But that was marriage. That was the Family Law Act. Thank you to Gough Whitlam for that. The Netherlands was the first country in the world in 2001 to extend marriage laws to same-sex couples in text. Now,
And they smoke weed. What? I love the Netherlands.
Now, our Marriage Act in 61 did not specify that marriage was between a man and a woman. It did not specify that in any way, shape, or form until 2004. Now, little Johnny Howard, with his stupid big glasses and his fucked up voice and fucked up politics.
It's got the sexiest eyebrows and all.
Oh, God. Little worms are rolling across his eyes. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. He, one afternoon, realised that our Marriage Act didn't define marriage between a man and a woman, had a press conference and said we're going to change it. The next day, rushed through Parliament changes to specify that the Marriage Act was between a man and a woman.
Because when gay people get married, it ruins marriage for the rest of us.
Yeah. What a fucking stupid argument that is.
Argument? No.
Now, it's 13 years from that point in time when John Howard changed the Marriage Act, shoved it through Parliament in one afternoon. Apparently now to change it back to include same-sex couples to marry, the coalition government wants to have a plebiscite. Now, why we have to get everybody's opinion in the country, why everybody has to have a say of yes or no as to whether same-sex couples can publicly stand out and proud and say, I love this person and I want to commit the rest of my life to them. So I want to do that in law.
It doesn't make sense because you're voting on equality.
Yes, you are voting on equality.
What? No.
We shouldn't... The Parliament should just be able to pass through in one afternoon the change to the Marriage Act. Every opinion poll that has been taken on in the last couple of years says that the public are in favour of it.
Yeah.
There
it's like
are
voting on women's rights and allowing all the men to vote as well.
Yeah. It is bonkers to me that they want to hold a plebiscite. They wanted to do it in a voting booth. They wanted to get everybody out for a mandatory plebiscite to say, do you believe that people of the same sex should be able to vote? That was, thank God, voted down by the Senate and has been done so twice now. So, to compromise, instead of just letting the Parliament do its job, allowing the Liberal Party, which founded itself on conscious votes, mind you, and allow the Parliament to have a free vote on this change, they are now wanting to have a postal plebiscite, which means every person who's registered with the electoral roll in Australia will be sent a letter to ask them that question, and then they will have to send it back. The reasoning that they are doing it this way is because they don't believe they have to pass any legislation for them to hold the postal plebiscite, and they believe it to be a compromise for everybody to have their say on this issue. It's not an issue.
Equality.
It's so not an issue. Now, the big thankfully, there are a couple of groups of people that are taking a challenge to the High Court about this one for two good reasons. One, the electoral roll is not the Australian Electoral Commission is not actually going to be running this vote. The commission that is there and chartered to hold elections and votes is not going to be running a plebiscite postal vote. Keyword, vote. Voting organisation, nothing to do with the vote. Instead, the government is going to put the Australian Bureau of Statistics in charge, #census fail, if anybody can remember that.
What?
In charge of a postal vote. Now, the big issue there is the fact that the ABS, the key's in the name, is there to gather statistics. Their argument is that getting everybody to say yes or no to marriage equality is a statistic. No, it's a vote. It's an opinion. Very, very different things. So there's an issue to be taken to the High Court. The other issue is the cost. It is going to cost $122 million to send out that much paper to everybody to have a vote on. Now,
I like trees.
There's that.
I want them in my home.
Now,
cut up into small white pieces.
The big issue with that is that that's a large amount of money, particularly coming from a government that said we were in a deficit crisis. They want to get a public opinion poll by spending $122 million on it. It makes my head hurt thinking about it. And
plus, they already know the answer's
They
going to be
already know
yes.
the answer's going to be yes. But then the issue that then comes up is that people are going to boycott the vote and I can completely understand why, but as Bill Shorten said, just vote yes. The biggest kick to the establishment would be to say yes and allow equality to live on in a country that so strongly says that we should give everybody a fair go. Now, I'm not going to get into what the arguments for no and yes are. I stand with yes. I'm a person who wants to offer equality to everybody, and that includes me. If I meet a man and I want to be able to spend the rest of my life with them and they with me, I would like to be able to get married one day. And I don't want to have the government telling me no because they don't believe it to be right.
Nay.
Anyway,
Just move to somewhere.
Yes. So anyway, the big thing this week for me has been watching Parliament turn into a bit of a farce, not actually doing their job and having a free vote on something that is a matter of equality. Now,
I also retract my statement of this being a tidbit.
Yeah, sorry, this isn't a tidbit anymore. This is half of the podcast.
No, I put the words in your mouth.
Yeah, you did. So, it's hard to watch. It is really hard to watch people have a debate and some who do take their faith, in my opinion, too far, arguing that the children of same-sex couples are a lost generation and that it's going to undermine society by allowing two people who love one another to put rings on their fingers and offer a vow either in front of somebody of a church or a civil celebrant to be married in the eyes of the law and spend their lives together without having to go through the crap of a de facto partnership and all of that. I think it's wrong, and I very much agree with Bill Shorten when he stood up in Parliament and blamed Malcolm Turnbull for any horrid arguments that do come out and the pain that it will cause a section of our society. And I feel that Turnbull should be very disappointed in himself, as he will be remembered as a prime minister that offered so much and did so little and disappointed a lot of people. And there is no way that you're going to be able to change that at all. So it's very difficult to watch. So if the postal plebiscite does go ahead, if you do get a letter in the mail, if you believe that everybody should have equal rights and that
if you believe in equality, vote yes.
Yes. If you believe in equality, vote yes. If you believe that love exists, vote yes. And if you think that your personal religious opinion is so defining in our law, then maybe just put the postal plebiscite in the bin. Don't vote. I'm sorry. It's not mandatory. So don't let your opinion impact other people. One should never do that. And you may think that mine is impacting others, but bad luck for you. I don't think so.
This is not an opinion. This is just equality.
Yeah.
It's a statement.
Yep.
It's what should happen according to, equality.
Anyway, I've had my little rant, so thank you. If you got all the way through it, thanks. Thanks to David for being patient.
Who?
You.
Oh. Yeah.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about this week? Because I sort of hijacked that. I'm sorry.
Do you reckon the name, if the name Jody was spelt with a G, it would just say "Go Die"? I realised that popped in. That's a literal shower thought I had this morning. It's like the name Jody. If you spelt it with a G, then it'd just say "Go Die." I had a laugh. It's like, why?
Why did you think of that in the shower?
I don't know.
Is that okay? Anyway, wow, it's great.
There you go.
Cool.
Lol.
So, did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about this week?
Not really. It was just like the Fringe festival in Edinburgh. It's pretty cool. I like the verticality of the city.
It's like a cake.
It's not like a cake.
It's like a tiered cake.
It's not like a cake.
There's lots of different
Have you
levels.
ever been on a cake? You ever walked on a cake? You ever
No.
bought a book in a bookshop on a cake? It's not like a cake.
Alright, don't get literal.
Okay.
So you just shut up and
I
say.
am utterly literal. What else? I'm very, very close to finishing an album of music, not photos. I didn't take any photos. An album of music, which will have a total of 8 tracks.
So it's more like a long play. It's more like an LP.
No, it's an album. That is an LP. LP and album, essentially the same thing.
I'm sure there is a distinction somewhere. I've never really taken much care to look into the two, but anyway. So you've almost finished an album.
Yep.
Does it have a conscience and a sort of story running through it, or is it just lots of different songs?
It has a story.
Okay,
Well, it does, yeah.
great. I look forward to hearing it.
You won't.
Oh.
It's really bad. No, I've gotten...
Probably is.
Yeah, I've gotten better with mastering. What? Who said that? Was it the wind? But we're inside. Oh no.
Rick and Morty, woo!
New episode will be out. And also Game Thrones. Game Throney games.
I haven't watched anything of Game of Thrones since like season 3.
Yeah.
It's been many years since I watched Game of Thrones.
So it was season 1, 2, and 3, and they were pretty good. And so 4, I think it was 4 and 5 that were just a bit bleh.
Apparently,
But then 6 was like real good, and then 7 is shit's happening. A lot of shit's just happening. So
apparently the script
interesting.
as well. Apparently, from what I've heard at work, people are complaining that the writers must have just quite literally sat on the keyboard, rubbed their ass across it, and run with that because the story's just a bit crap. That's all I know about it at the moment, and that I kind of just wish it had finished so I didn't have to hear about it anymore.
Just don't hear about it. Have you watched the movie Get Out?
Is that the one that's about the white family in Middle America and the daughter is dating a young person of African descent who then...
A black
brings in
person, yes.
Yes. And then they,
I watched it.
take their bodies or something.
I watched it. It's really good. It's quite funny. And then scary at the same time. It's confusing. Yeah, it's good.
I've read a little bit about it and it's popped up as a talking point with some people, and it doesn't seem like it'd interest me that much. Like, the concept seems interesting, but the movie itself I'd probably get bored with.
Yeah, because I think it's meant to be horror. Or
Yeah.
something, but I don't watch horror movies. This wasn't
no,
really
neither do I.
this wasn't really. I mean, it was a little bit of horror, but it's not like the gory, jump scary kind of shit.
Not like...
A demon! It's more something that could realistically happen. Well, more realistically than, a demon!
Okay.
Yeah. Go to hell. There's demons there. Give them a touch on the arm, and they'll be like,
I might
get off.
report...
Get off me.
I might report you.
To who? The demons. They
My
kicked
boss.
me out last time. They didn't agree with
Your methods.
my methods.
I have heard. I did read the review I gave of your employment there. You shit.
Those damn memos I sent. They were too friendly. I'm a very friendly person.
No, you're not. You meet new people and you...
No,
You just-
no. I think I
that's
don't meet new people.
Well, yes,
But when I do, I don't. I leave.
he quite literally does. I don't know how you do it. I really don't.
Well, you go, this isn't fairly interesting. Well, I'm going to go home now. Goodbye.
You don't even give it time to be interesting. You don't even give people time to...
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
I do.
You don't.
I do. I give it enough time as I think.
Yeah, which is not enough time by the rest of the general populace.
How long?
I think you should be able to actually hold a conversation with them instead of just you...
Well, that's not up to me, is it?
Oh.
I'm not interested in having a conversation. So I just leave. I'm sure they're a great person, maybe. But I don't want to find out. So I leave.
What would make you stay and hang around people? Or do they have to just sort of follow you around?
What?
Like,
I don't want them following me.
Like, do they have to make the effort, or...
Probably. I mean, if they want, but I wouldn't advise it. Because I'll just probably, nonchalance.
Anyway, we might leave that for another time to discuss David's rather lacking social skills.
Well, it's not really social skills. It's more like social...
Acceptance?
No, I wouldn't say acceptance. I accept it. But I just leave.
You accept it, but you're not accepting of
this
other
is
people.
The situation of it. No, I accept other people. I just don't care. I don't want anything to do with them. So I just leave. Bye.
Yeah. We'll talk to you next week.
I won't. I will.
I will. If you hear the sound of a punch next week, you'll know that I've finally cracked.
Oh, no. Wait. Your own skull or someone else's?
We'll find out next week.
Well, they won't, because